what areas did it go to, where did that car come from the Missouri area, and we'll take it wherever it takes us. One of the most challenging or more challenging aspects of the investigation is examining the social media footprint of the suspect. It appears that he used social media extensively. You saw after the shooting yesterday, when he is deceased, when he has been killed by Baton Rouge police, someone was still actively on a Facebook page that they had created to say that he was still alive. Those are the things we're dealing with. And even though many in the media discounted that and said it's a hoax, we cannot take it that way, which is why we didn't release his name immediately, even though most of y'all had that particular name. We want to go through an evidentiary factor to where we, from forensic standpoint, we can take his fingerprints. Those were back through Missouri, where we were able to work with the FBI, obtain prints from his military background, where we can positively identify. So just because it's read about doesn't mean we haven't sought after it, investigated, and vetted it. But before we release it, it's going to be based on fact, not on rumor. Multiple other pieces of evidence have been seized, and we are deploying all investigative methods to exploit their evidentiary value, including forensics, electronics, ballistics, and behavioral examinations. We continue to ask anyone who has information related to the suspect or his motives to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Same number as yesterday, 1-800-CALL-FBI. We're asking for your help in protecting the integrity of this investigation. And while there's much more that we know, there's also much that remains to be learned. This is a big puzzle. You're looking at a crime scene, which we'll go into in a minute, it's probably 300 to 400 yards. To meticulously go through that takes time. And that's what you're dealing with right here. We owe it to these officers. 3 officers are dead. 1 is fighting for his life. We owe it to them to do it right and to get it right. We owe that to them. And I think that the public demands nothing less. What I want to do, just real quickly, I'm just going to just so you get a picture of where we're at on this particular one. This gives you an idea of where Airline Highway going northbound towards Baton Rouge Police Headquarters. You see Fitness Expo, even though it's an older picture, we just put this together because we want y'all to have something. We want the viewers to see this. This is where Fitness Expo is, Benny's Car Wash, BQ Quick, where he first was tried to engage a Baton Rouge police officer, Party City, this location, back right here is the Beauty Salon, where we're going to walk through the situation exactly how it happened. We believe while this individual was in the city, he was looking for locations to specifically target police officers. No doubt in my mind, you're going to see as we walk through this, there were citizens walking all through the area. He never encountered, he completely dismissed every single one. His intentions were accurate, and they were engaging. They were all aimed at police officers. When he first comes to this particular BQ mark, this location, you had a sheriff's deputy, East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputy, who was working extra duty detail. He provides security to this location. He goes to multiple locations. He was at this location. A Baton Rouge City police officer, a marked unit, was parked right here. As he came back, he came into the area. He took his car and parked it right here, along this area. And we saw it because we could see the shadow. Multiple cameras in this location, the shadow. He comes right here. He's tactically moving along the back part of that building, watching what's going on around him. He's got that gun. You saw the earlier pictures where he's got that gun, where he's going forward. He's holding that there. As he comes into it, he goes straight for this car. As he gets to the car, I think this is most chilling to the sheriff and to the chief. As he approaches that car, he engaged into a manner like this towards the car. He then sees there's no one in it. But he then comes back, gets back in his car, comes back on the highway, and he's coming out. He noticed a Baton Rouge police officer that is vacuuming his car at the Benny's Car Wash. He sees that. He pulls into the Fitness Expo, comes back around and parks his car right here. Keep that in mind as we go back to this in just a few minutes. He then comes out. This police officer has left the scene. He left the scene that moment. He then starts making his way back around, comes back around through the area, comes back over here. At this point now, that's when the calls had come in to say that there was an individual, exact words, a dude with a rifle going down Airline Highway. So people are engaged, the police have gotten to the scene now, they go to where he went a while ago. They actually go this way. He comes in along the side here, and he works his way again down this side right here. He actually, at this end, this corner right here, instead of going right around the corner, he actually comes out to where he's tactically involved, ready to fire. He comes back around these two Baton Rouge police officers and sheriff deputy. Come back over here. But remember, that's where he was running. That was the location he was going into. When he came back around, these two Baton Rouge police officers were right here standing. He shot both of them. One falls right here, this location. Another one moves itself back around here. This one is dead. This one is wounded at this point. He comes back around. The deputy that was with them, he goes back to a dumpster in this area right here and kind of hides behind the dumpster. He waits there and takes cover in that location with his gun drawn. He's got a clear view on this police officer that is wounded right here and is lying there. You can see him moving. We see that in the video. He comes back around and he starts going to aid. Now think about this. He hears and heard the gunshots. He saw the guys in that area. This sheriff's deputy, he leaves his cover with his gun drawn, goes back to that police. That's what we're trained to do. We're trained to take care of our own. He is going back to help that police officer. Guys coming back around, he sees he's dead, he comes back in, and as the deputy's coming in, the shooter comes around this corner right here. At that point, he sees the deputy, he shoots the deputy. Shoots him right there. He sees movement on this guy right here and shoots him. So he's killed those three. He then tactically moves back on around and comes running through this area. Somehow gets over this wall, we believe, as an air conditioning unit, goes into this area here, makes his way back around, back to where his car is. At this point, you've got a sheriff's deputy that's sitting in his car. He's gotten out, he's gotten the license plate. He was going back in it to run the license plate. He's sitting in his car. When he comes back out, he shoots the deputy in the car. That's the one that's fighting for his life right now. Shots to the upper torso. You're going to hear that from the sheriff in a few minutes. When he's making his way around, he's going to, there's no doubt in our mind. There's police officers coming in. He shoots a police officer and wounds him right here. Real quick, the deputy back over here. And when he was shooting back over here, these two police officers, something got his attention. A city policeman was responding. He actually shot and wounded this city policeman right here. 3 dead, 1 injured, dislocation. Shoots the deputy in the car. He is going back at this location. He is going back to the deputy shot in the car, which is back over here. At this point, he shoots and wounds a police officer in this location right here. Let me just tell you something. The responding Baton Rouge police SWAT team. From this location right here, as this gunman is coming across right here, that is the fatal shot where he shot the shooter over 100 yards. Think of the presence of mind in taking the shot right here. And that kind of leads you and puts you in a position where the viewers can see exactly what was unfolding based on what they heard on television, what they saw in the news, and they heard everybody talking about it. And what I want to do is certainly have Sheriff Gautreaux and Chief Deputy come up to talk about their officers and kind of give you a little more rundown of where those officers were to the best of our ability. Keep in mind, it's an ongoing investigation. You've heard this from us all the time. The public has a right to know, and we want to give that ability. We also want to protect the integrity of the case and where it is leading us to. A lot of moving parts, a very large puzzle, some of those pieces are moving. So please keep that in mind as we provide this information to you. Sheriff.
I'm here today to update you as far as the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office goes. As an agency and as a family, we're grieving the loss of Deputy Brad Garofalo. We've been in constant contact with his family. He leaves behind a wife and 4 children. I know they are hurting, but I want them to know that we are here for them now and forever. They are our family. We're also getting our deputies the assistance they need to cope with this tragedy. We still have another deputy that is currently fighting for his life. It's Corporal Nick Tullier. He was shot in the head and the stomach and has extensive damage. He's currently in ICU and owns a machine helping him breathe. He's in very critical condition. We ask for your continued prayers for his healing and for his family. And finally, we have a deputy that has non-life-threatening injuries, but serious injuries, and that's Sergeant Bruce Simmons. He is going to his second surgery this evening. It will be one of many. The bone running from his elbow to his shoulder was completely shattered. He now has a titanium rod in his arm.
Damn.
He has other reconstructive surgeries ahead of him, and we also ask for your continual prayers for healing with him as well. I want to reiterate some of what Colonel Edmondson said. We watched the video, and we watched the actions of our deputies and officers. They ran to the threat, not from the threat, in an attempt to protect and preserve life. They were ambushed by a man who was clearly targeting law enforcement. Deputy Garafola died attempting to get a fallen Baton Rouge officer to render aid. Deputy Garafola died as a hero, protecting and serving. So did the other officers. I think it's important that we remember as we move forward. They are gone, but they are not forgotten. We will be forever grateful for their service. The Baton Rouge City Police SWAT team arrived quickly on the scene, as the colonel said, and they were able to take down the lone shooter, preventing any further injury or loss of life. I want to say this. There's no doubt in my mind after watching those videos and seeing how this guy moved, how he operated, his proficiency and his determination. And I'm going to go back to this. The first engagement, as the colonel showed you, was in this area here, where he killed one Baton Rouge City officer and wounded a second here. Then he had shot the third Baton Rouge City officer here. That city officer actually got around the corner and was crawling this way. They were out of sight of my deputy when the shooting started, because they had gone back this way in the building and he stayed behind the building. When the shooting started, he ran to take cover behind the dumpster. But when he saw the officer lying there and was clearly still alive, he moved along the building, and as the colonel said, was moving down the building to get to the officer to render aid. That's when the subject came from back around this side of the building and engaged my officer. My deputy went down fighting. He returned fire to the very end. He was laying on a prone position, returning fire. We could actually see in the video the bullets that were hitting the concrete around him. But once he knew that he had taken that deputy out, he turned his attention back to this the wounded officer. He turned around, no further from here, those cameras, and shot him twice. Then he moved on back through here, as the colonel said. So we've had one city police officer injured here, 2 killed, 1 deputy killed. He moved back through this area, and his car was parked generally here. As the colonel said already, Couturier got out of his unit, checked the license plate, just gotten back in his unit where the guy came out. He started immediately firing into the car, all the time walking that way. His attention was drawn to a second deputy who was parked here, and at which time he started firing in that direction. That was the other deputy who was shot in the shoulder. And he told me last night when he got hit, it just went on, nothing, no control. I am convinced that if he would have continued in that direction and finished off this deputy and that deputy as he did to these other officers and deputies over here, I am convinced that Baton Rouge City SWAT would not have arrived on the scene. We'd have had 2 more deceased deputies. This guy would have been in a position to get in his car and go on, travel, and seek other targets. But Baton Rouge City SWAT, you can't understand the shot that was taken here. They were in this area right here. They had to shoot through structure, and they took the subject down right here. The men and women responding to this scene yesterday are heroes. Just like the men and women that put on a uniform each morning and each night. They are everyday heroes. And I ask this community to continue to keep them and their families in your prayers. And I ask this community to continue to pray for peace. We will get through this. Baton Rouge is better than this.
Good afternoon. I stand here as a chief with a heavy heart, number one. This has been a whirlwind of, as Colonel said, 30 hours that has been devastating to the Baton Rouge Police Department, our officers, and our families, but also to the city of Baton Rouge. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the overwhelming 99.9% of this community who have supported, who have sent me messages, who have sent my officers messages, who have showed their support for the Baton Rouge Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, and our state police, for law enforcement in general here. It is completely overwhelming, the amount of support that we've gotten. I'm not going to get into the tactics here. I'm going to stand here as a chief and as a former instructor at the Academy of Tactics and just tell you how proud I am of our department, our training staff, our instructors, our SWAT team. They did exactly how they were trained, without hesitation, without fear, but with courage, with methodical movement. They did exactly how they were trained. They went to the fire. They didn't run. They didn't go the other direction. They didn't blow it off. They went straight to it. And I could not be more proud of these officers. I could not be more proud of my SWAT team. We've been questioned for the last 3 or 4 weeks about our militarized tactics and our militarized law enforcement. This is why. Because we are up against a force that is not playing by the rules. They haven't played by the rules. They didn't play by the rules in Dallas, and they didn't play by the rules here. This is why. We don't ever want to use it, but we have to have the ability to use it when we needed it, and we needed it here. As several have said, this guy was going to another location. He was not going to stop here. After he was finished here, I have no doubt he was heading to our headquarters, and he was going to take more lives. Our militarized tactics, as they're being called, saved lives here. That shot that our SWAT team made was a hell of a shot, but it had to be made. We had to neutralize the threat right there. We could not let it go any further. One of the officers who ran to this fight, Matthew Gerald, 41 years old, served less than a year with the Baton Rouge Police Department. Matthew was a devoted husband and father of 2. Before joining the Baton Rouge Police Department, let me tell you a little bit about Matthew. Matthew served in the United States Marine Corps and served United States Marine and in the United States Army. He was a Black Hawk crew member and served 3 tours in Iraq. He served his country proudly and with honor. His sense of service drew him to law enforcement when he got out of the military. He spent his whole life serving this country and our city, and he's a hero for everything that he's done. Corporal Montrell Jackson is 32 years old. He's a 10-year veteran. He worked in our Uniform Patrol Division. Montrell and his wife have been together for a total of 10 years. Montrell's son turned 4 months old today. Montrell was a loving and devoted husband. As an academy director, I served as Montrell's instructor, and for 20 weeks, I tested Montrell physically, mentally, and emotionally every single day. Montrell stood tall every day. He never wavered, he never quit. His heart was in service to this community. A couple of days before this happened, I went down in 3rd District and was talking to the guys trying to lift their spirits. Montrell ended up giving me a pep talk. As you heard as his post that he left on his Facebook page, his devotion was to the Baton Rouge City and to our department. And he ended up giving me the pep talk. I didn't give it to him. And that was the last time that I spoke to Montrell. And I'll never forget it. He is a true hero. I have something from his wife, Tarnisha, who wanted me to share this with you today. And I'll read what she said. Montrell was my everything. He was an amazing husband, an outstanding father, a respectful son, and a loving brother, and an amazing uncle, a trustworthy godfather, and a loyal friend. He loved his family, and he loved his fellow officers. I know without a shadow of a doubt, he loved his job and his city. Knowing this is what gives me a little peace and comfort. I know he made the ultimate sacrifice and paid the ultimate price in doing what he loved, protecting and serving a city that he loved. Thank you.
Yes, Good afternoon. I'm Walter Reed, U.S. Attorney. First, we continue to keep the law enforcement victims and their families in our prayers on a daily basis. We stand here together, committed a team of federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate this horrific tragedy that was committed in our community. And I say again, it was our community. We are coordinating with federal authorities to include U.S. Attorney's offices, FBI and ATF and other districts, as well as other officials in the Department of Justice to investigate this matter. In Baton Rouge, the U.S. Attorney's Office, Federal Bureau of Investigation, ATF, United States Marshal Service, and the DEA continues to provide assistance in this investigation. Attorney General Lynch is being made aware of every step of this investigation and continues to monitor this situation very closely. Yesterday, as I said, we will continue to investigate this matter and continue to devote all needed federal law enforcement resources until justice has been served. And as the governor said, no stone will be left uncovered in this investigation. We thank all of our law enforcement partners that are here today and the ones that are not here on the podium, as well as the mayor and the governor here in attendance, for their cooperation and teamwork in investigating this case. I say to all law enforcement, you have our deepest sympathies while dealing with this horrific tragedy. And now, I would ask FBA Jeff Sillett to give some additional comments.
Good afternoon. First, on behalf of the men and women of the FBI, I want to extend our deepest condolences and prayers to the men and women of the Baton Rouge City Police Department and the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. As been said up here numerous times, these men and women are heroes. Something that comes to my mind is the first responders' motto during 9/11. They called, we responded. Think about that. Human instinct is to run from the fight. These men and women are running into the fight to protect all of us. I am personally, as a law enforcement officer and as a citizen of this country, in awe by the men and women of this department and the strength of the men and women of this department. With our partners from local, state, and federal agencies, we will leave no stone unturned, as which has been set up here before. We are committing all resources to identify co-conspirators or facilitators, bring them to justice, and most importantly, and in parallel to bringing justice, keep the safety of our community. At the core of American values is unity. As toddlers, we learn the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to quote 7 words from the pledge. One nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Standing up here before you is a unified team. Baton Rouge, unified. Louisiana, unified. America, unified. This will only make us stronger. We will work tirelessly to ensure safety in this community and throughout the nation. And please, every day, when you see a local or state police officer, thank them. They're the ones that are keeping you all and me and our families safe. I want to thank Governor Edwards and the mayor for your leadership. Governor Edwards has been an incredible leader in this state and for the country throughout the past 2 weeks with all the events that have been occurring in the state of Louisiana. And thank you for your partnership and your commitment. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna have time for a few questions for either myself, the chief, the sheriff, or Governor Edwards as we go forward. So,
Colonel Edmondson, our heartfelt condolences to all of you. My name is James Rose, Fox News in Dallas. We just went through this very similar scenario, and it's hauntingly familiar to see what you just described. And I want to let you know that my organization has confirmed that Gavin Long was in Dallas recently trying to recruit, be a life coach, some of the book, and are you guys aware of that?
we know he's in several locations. As we work backwards from 8:40 yesterday morning, we want to look at the footprint of that car. Where has it been? Where has it traveled to? Who did he contact and who did he talk along the way? Any cell phone information we can extract and work on that, we're diligently doing, because it's important to us to look at that timeline. They've got him to yesterday morning. And why? Why did he come to Baton Rouge? Why did he pick that location right there? And why did he kill police officers? That's what's important to us. So we'll get to that. Yes, sir, right here.
Can you and the sheriff do something with this man? I see what's on with this. Can you tell us?
Sorry about that. My husband was in here.
In their names, you can on the map. You can do that.
We'll do that after.
We'll do that after. But my other question, you can do that for us later. The other thing is, it looked like he was moving. He was running, or did he have a car? How did he get from this location down here?
He ran. By car back over here, and he ran. He was in shape. Clearly, he was in shape. Clearly, he was concentrating on exactly what he was trying to do. He was articulate in all manners of engagement.